Alrighty. I'm doing puts, he's doing calls.
We'll see
Head to head.
who's right on this one.
This is a pro trader shootout. Who's faster?
How'd the SPY look at close? I haven't checked it.
It's scary for puts. I mean, it closed on a volume divergence and a double
Oh,
bottom. So it's scary for puts because that tells me that there was buyers at close. And it's also a double
yes.
bottom on the low of the day. So I am worried, but usually when I'm worried about a trade, those are my good ones. Whenever I'm too confident, those are the ones I get burned in bad. So I'm just going to wait. I think tomorrow we might gap up again to 400 or so, and then I'm going to add more then. And I wanted 400 today, but we didn't get it. So I just took the highs of, I took that 398 high around like 2, and then I took that morning high, and I just added those. That was about it, though.
I think we'll see it gap up tomorrow, which is why I bought calls. I think we're going to see it gap up to 402 or 403.
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of
And those,
kind of in a range right now on the daily, but
yep.
it also looks like an
And
inverse head and shoulders, which I'm more scared about if it does make that because then I'll have to get stopped out around 405. But I'm still holding tight to the theory that we still have a little bit, like we can still retest at least 390, but really we're going to go to 380 again. I'm still going to hold on to that till the end of April, but we'll
nice.
see. This is
I
this
did
is this is where
my
you
calls are for Wednesday.
said they're for Wednesday.
Yeah, they
That's good.
expire Wednesday. So the best, if they're going to move, the best time to move is the day before they expire,
Yeah.
and then sometimes on the day they expire. So
Mm-hmm.
that was my train of thought. And the cheapest one was what, $50 or $60? When do you ever see a SPY option at $50 or $60 for premium? Like never.
Dang.
So I'm like, it's definitely cheap enough where it's worth, getting a handful of each and just rolling the dice.
Yeah. Whatever.
Especially after the first Citizens trade I made.
Mm-hmm.
How insane was that?
I don't know if we are gonna go lower than 380 at least at the end of April. I think that we had like a lot of volume come in on all that bank run stuff. It was almost like a sale. So I think we might retest that area, but for it to go lower, I'm thinking for it to go lower, the Fed is going to have to make a mistake by saying like, "Oh, we're going to pause rates," and then the market, flies, and then they go, "No, we're going to raise again." Then the market's going to be like, "Oh my god." And I think that would be like something where we start seeing 370s, 360s again.
Dude, they're going to have to raise rates. I don't even know who they think they're fooling. They said they're going to do what, another 25 basis points by the end of May, and then still subtract 100 basis points by the end of 2023. I'm like,
Oh, I don't know about that.
oh,
I thought they're just gonna
there's no
pause and
way.
then like next year they'll start cutting.
No, dude, there's no way. Our inflation's already out of control.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to read the volume right now, and it looks like there was just a lot of volume on that bank dip, which was too fast of a drop, and whoever people bought that up, but all that volume, there has to be a rebound for that.
There
So,
does.
but you don't understand what I'm saying. The rebound in my eyes is to the upside. So I'm thinking that the inverse head and shoulders is right, but
Huh.
we're stuck in a range right now, and I'm playing the range, going to 390 to 400, 400 to 390. And what I don't want
Yeah.
to see, I don't want to see um, more people buying as we increase in prices as the prices are low. Like if we're at 390 and then I see we have a, volume increasing as prices are increasing at 390, that's going to tell me that now it's become too cheap because it wasn't like that at 380s. The volume wasn't doing that still. So I'm thinking it comes back down to the 380s, retests, and then buyers say, okay, no, this is too cheap now. And too cheap means it's not coming back for a while. Like at the start of 2023 when it was at 373, and then we started to see increasing volume in that range, that
Yeah.
tells me that we were too cheap there. So maybe something like that happens again. But as of right now, I'm just playing this range that we're kind of stuck in, this 400 to 390. That's the goal. So yes, I will be tossing my puts if we open tomorrow at 390, 100%. So I'm just kind of, which I don't know why we'd open at 390 tomorrow. Is the Fed? What's the economic calendar? I think I heard something about some Fed or.
I posted it in there, but I would imagine uh,
I
they
think
would have to
somebody
do
was
another
speaking.
meeting.
So tomorrow, yep, Barr, the Fed, the Governor Barr, he testifies to the
Oh,
Senate on banks, on the bank regard. So
dude.
that might be that could move the market.
Oh, absolutely. Well, because I think the only reason the market really took the hit that it did was because of the bank collapse.
Yeah, but
And
they were
so,
people were just scared, and the banks were
right.
scared, and
And
everybody was like, "Oh, the market's crashing" or whatever. But
well, and then, like First Citizens is buying SVB. So anybody who is in that bank doesn't have to worry because it's going to get covered. So that's a positive. And then, the Bank of New York shut down Signature. We talked about this last week
mm-hmm.
because they saw the same trending patterns that were unsafe for the bank to keep its doors open.
Uh huh.
So I think it's forcing the Federal Reserve and the Treasury to go in and make some decisions that normally they would have been like, oh, we're just going to let it slide because the pandemic and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think it's forcing them to get a tighter grip on the banking industry because they have to make sure it doesn't collapse. The worst thing that could possibly happen to our country right now, coming out of this pandemic and inflation being so high, is for the banking system to collapse.
Yeah, I don't know
Like,
if
so
that's gonna happen. I think.
they have to do everything in their power to make sure it does not. So I think that gives investors peace of mind
Uh huh.
because no matter what happens, your money's still going to be safe.
I think the way I'm seeing it right now, with like just normal people, normal day to day life, not enough people are worried about it. Not enough people are talking about it. Not enough people are taking action on it for it to be something in that case that's that
Yes.
could really do damage. Yet, right? I don't think so yet. I think there would have to be like a ongoing kind of thing, and then a catalyst after it's been ongoing, and then I think that would kind of make everybody be like, well, we're screwed. But right now, I
Uh,
don't think it's like that.
no, I agree with you. I think the way you're looking at it is realistic. Like, I don't think it's like that either. Um, I just know with the way that the perception is that the feds need to do and Treasury needs to do everything in their power to make sure that the banking system doesn't collapse. So if anything, they'll have safeguards in place that'll make the average retail investor feel better about pretty much just using money that's in a bank, I guess. But as
Yeah.
we've seen in Canada and India, um, they have closed off accounts, and people aren't allowed to withdraw any cash out of their own personal bank accounts.
See, that's more detrimental to the economy than anything, though.
Yeah, see, I think so too. I agree.
Uh,
But I do think they have a control of it, and it's nowhere near manic panic or chaos, um, where we would have to be worried about it right now.
mm-hmm.
But I think the Feds have to run offense and try to make the American people feel at ease.
This is
You
just
know,
like
oh,
totally setting up to be something where like we just totally get rid of cash and everybody's like online, and it's not it has nothing to do with like going from fiat currency to like gold or like Bitcoin. It's just having everybody be online because how can you do a bank run if it's all online?
it's exactly. Well, and you know that the Department of Treasury has their own cryptocurrency.
Yeah,
It's
I've
put
heard
out
of
by
that.
Circle. It's USDC
Yeah.
is the and that is a stable coin, which unlike Ethereum or Bitcoin, there's the volatility is not there. Stable coins are backed by gold or cash that's kept in the treasury, and so
Huh.
I think you're right. They're gonna try to do a point where they make everybody, oh, you don't have to worry about it. Just buy some of our crypto. It's always going to be worth at least $1.
Yeah.
Then you can do everything electronically, and then there are no cash runs on the banks. I think you're right. All of this is setting up where people are going to be like, oh, normal cryptos, yeah, those are too volatile, but let's buy these stable coins.
Yeah. Well, that's just what makes more sense to me is that it's almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's going to happen that
Yes.
way. Like we don't
No,
want
I'm
it.
with you,
We're
man.
trying to go to, we're all like trying to keep bank runs from happening or we're trying to cause a bank run and then or whoever's trying to cause a bank run, but they just will make it to where it never happens, you know. But that's just that's the gist. I think we do if anything, I think that slow trend down and then where we keep catching up as the Fed pivots and slowly is pausing and cutting. It's all gonna be slow like that. Because I think right now is a time where there's a lot to buy, and it's not like we can just smart money or institutions or not like they can just buy it all at once. So it's gonna be sideways for a little while. That's why I'm just planning on trading the ranges.
It's definitely a good way of making money. And that's how we can play the same ticker over and over again and make money to live.
Yeah, I mean
Playing the
I've
ranges.
this whole month. I mean that's all I made money on was spy. Last yeah no this month paying
Yeah,
my
I
bills
mean,
and everything.
if it works for you, no need to change the plan.
Yeah, I mean, I've been adding to to these other positions I have, like Mullen and Acer and Boyle, but I mean, the cash flow has been from the S&P 500 or SPY, the ETF trust. It's been it's been from that.
It's so awesome.
I mean, it's just I watch it. I'm like a hawk on it, so I'm the volume is I'm sensitive to this. I'm sensitive to SPY. Versus something else I don't
Yes,
I don't watch. I'm not very sensitive to it.
right.
Right.
And that's why I like to say this all the time, especially when we're answering questions in the group. When people say, "Oh, should I buy this?" If you don't have the time to watch it, like you are, like you just said, like a hawk,
Mm-hmm.
then you probably don't need to be trading.
Yeah.
You know,
Or at
because
least
as
at
we've
least
seen,
extend your time period trading. Like go longer, longer, longer. You know.
right, you know, and have a plan. That's a big deal. Make sure you even if you can't watch it, do you have safeguards in place? Do you have a
Yeah.
stop loss set? Um, do you have a sell order set? So if it hits a certain point,
Yeah.
so if at least you have a plan, and if your plan gets executed, then you're going to make money.
Right. Right.
But I did the update on the watch list, all the tickers that I bought this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them reached the high of the day within 2 minutes
Uh-huh.
into trading, and then it tanked. So if you can't openly be in there keeping an eye on your trades, then you at least need to have stop losses in place. Because if you weren't there to sell them, like say it didn't hit your price target, if you had a limit sell order in place, it just didn't get there. But at least you can look at it and say, okay, it didn't get the $40, but it hit 39.50. I'm going to go ahead and start scaling some out,
Yeah.
and then they drop. I
Huh.
thought GameStop would have done more.
It's I'm just kind of on it right now. I mean, I'm waiting for it to move above 25 to add. So I've got half my position already. So I'm just kind of like whatever. But at least it's
I
holding from the gap up. So if
That's true.
that's interesting to me. But if it starts trying to fill the gap and go below like 22 or something down back to 20, I'm like, I might as well just wait again. Because overall,
I'm
I think it's gonna reach under $10 a share, which is why I've been kind of weary about it, and I changed my bias on it right now. But other than that, I mean, short term, I think it's great. But we'll see with all this Credit Suisse stuff. I don't know how bad Credit Suisse was in that, but that's just what I've been hearing that they were in it.
well, and I'll tell you, I have GameStop in my long term that I've been holding since the initial first run,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just day trade it here and there. And I did not add it this morning. And my note was it needs to break 25.50 before I make before I enter it,
Yeah.
and it just didn't get there. So thankfully, I didn't have an open position. So if it does drop, I can go in and pick it up for hopefully pennies on the dollar. But my other plan is if it runs, once it breaks that threshold, then I'm going to load up full shares
Mm-hmm.
because it'll be the confirmation that it got back up, and that it's got enough volume to support a continued run.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy looking at those because remember pre-market one day that stock hit $530, man.
Yeah. I can't believe
Look
it.
at how far it's come.
I know it's fell a
Yeah,
lot.
it's
It's been a long way.
and I know it doesn't make you feel better, but it does kind of make you feel better that the rest of the market's in the same predicament. Not just GameStop. Everybody else is down anywhere from 85 to 90%.
Yeah.
And so, look, you're like, well, as long as everyone's getting screwed, I'm okay with it. Even though it shouldn't make a difference. You should be like, oh man. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that's how I feel about it. I'm like, oh, it's everything. And that's one thing I always look at too. When any of my holdings are going down, I'm like, let me check the rest of the market. Is
Yeah.
it uh is it just this ticker, or is the whole market going down?
Right. Well, you got
And
any
then
specific
then I
tickers you've
feel
been
better.
watching?
Uh I do actually, you know, First Citizens was my main ticker, which man, I called that last night. I hope somebody else got in on it.
What was
That
it?
was a 306 uh FCNCA.
I see. Whoa, that thing moved. What the? When'd you get on this?
This morning, pre-market, about 4:02 a.m.
Okay, okay.
I had posted it last night. Which sticker should we buy? Because First Citizens was buying uh, Silicon Valley Bank,
Ah,
and nobody answered. And actually, if you held out to open, you would have been able to buy it for $570. So I owned it for $12 too much. Well, it topped out at 951. So if you got in when I did, and if you got out at the peak, you made $369 per share.
that's pretty good.
And last time I looked at it was about 315, and it was moving back up again. I don't know where it's sitting at now. Somewhere around 900, I would imagine.
Man, 100% on a bank stock. That's pretty good.
How awesome is that? I'm done for the rest of the year.
No, you're not.
I'm too addicted. I couldn't do it.
What do you think about what do you
And
think
then
about Mullen?
I like it. You know, I have it long term. Like I'm not joking. In my long term, I'm not selling till it hits $30.
Mm-hmm.
But short term, I can see easily 100%. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's very feasible. And
Yeah.
you know, and it's so crazy because the EV market, like, it takes the hit and everything goes down, and then something comes out, and then everything runs back up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another one of those where you can play the same ticker over and over again if you know how to play the ranges.
Right.
And you know, you're doing a good job with it, Mullen. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I still got room to add. I mean, I've just been kind of buying it pretty cheap, and I mean the volume's there. Everything looks solid
Yeah,
for it to bounce. So that's why, even though it's still falling, I don't care because I know that it's the volume is telling me there's divergence after divergence. So there's hidden buyers all day on it. So I'm just like, well, when's the day it's gonna fly? So I'm just waiting right now. It
right.
most likely it'll go to like 15 and then sideways and then then go to 20 and then 25. But you know, so I'm just kind of hanging out.
Well, and I like what you said about this is a ticker that I'm not going to set a stop loss on,
Uh huh.
because that's important. There are some of those tickers where we're like, it doesn't matter what the price is. We know based off of the what we're seeing in our analysis is that it's a strong ticker, and it's eventually going to do what we think it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And why would you set a stop loss on a 15-cent stock?
Yeah. It's just no reason for that. Just like you said, it's only 15 cents. I mean,
Right,
if I lose all my money, I just really don't care because it's very unlikely that that this oversold like this, and it's not gonna at least move 100%. The volume says it. The average true range says it. I mean, it's taken a very very longer than average move to the downside, a very extended move. And then the volume is saying that now there's divergence in the volume. There's hidden buyers. There's even bigger volume, but it's not moving down even bigger. So I'm saying okay, I like it. So I'm waiting. It probably go the highest volume price since 2023 right now is, let's see, 13 cents. That's the highest volume price. So there's a very good chance that we could see I mean, there's a very good chance. And mind you, there was even more action above at 40 cents, 30 cents, 35 cents. But at 13 cents, which is very recently, there's been extremely high volume. So there is definitely accumulation. And for whatever reason, it just seems like fear mongering right now. Like it just seems like, they're trying to trick as many people as they can into selling right now because short term or this could even be a long term bottom. I don't know. I mean, it's really really cheap right now. So I mean, I remember
it
looking at it.
is.
I remember looking at it when we were at 18 cents. We were like, man, that's a 52-week low, and now it just keeps making new lows. I was like, okay, you know what? I might as well just take a stab let's take a stab. I'll risk it. So whatever. I'm not
And why do you think
I'm not worried about it.
it keeps hitting these new lows? Like, what is your take on that?
Well, a lot of the time, if the volume is doing like how the volume is doing now, that's the thing. You can't just say like it's new lows and then because if it was different, if the volume was validating the new lows, if it was actually very low volume as it kept falling down, and the volume was still less and less as it kept falling down, which it looks like. It looks like it's the stock needs fuel. So if the volume was validating and it was searching for support, that's different. Then there would still be a lot more room to go. But the volume is not saying that. The volume is saying that somebody is accumulating into all of this selling for whatever reason. I bet you there's insider trading going on right now where the fear mongering in Mullen or something, and they're scaring people into selling their shares, or they're holding it out. They're just keep dropping it and keep dropping it and keep dropping it because some news is going to come out or something's about to come out, and that's why they want it this cheap. And the only reason I'm saying that is because while seeing the volume doing what it's doing as it's falling down like this, that's what tells me that it's not a bad buy. This is an excellent buy right now, only because the volume is diverging. It's not validating the real selling that's going on. So it is very likely because yesterday when I was looking at it, I mean 20 cents isn't even anything. I mean really probably 30 cents is going to be more like it. So I'm definitely liking that. And but yeah, that's
See,
to answer your question, looking at the volume here. I mean, the volume has been increasing and it's been sell volume in those days that it opened high and closed low. All those candles, they're selling candles. It's been sell volume and the volume's increasing, but Mullen isn't moving down increasingly faster. It's not doing that. So that tells me that there's hidden buyers 100%.
dude, you hit the nail on the head with that. Um, I was basically just going to say, I think the way it's moving down, it's being manipulated
Yeah.
to get that price lower and lower as somebody's accumulating it.
Yeah.
But the way you set it up was a very good expanded version of what I mean by being manipulated.
Yeah, for whatever reason, maybe the market makers are they they already know what's going to happen, or something so something fishy's going
Right.
on, but the only way to be able to tell that is you have to be able to see the volume and you have to be able to see the price action and put those together because for it to continuously fall like this for several days, but the volume's increasing, that's odd to me. So
Yes.
I want to bet against that because that's an anomaly. That's not just like that stuff like that doesn't just happen. Like with with that Tesla trade when it just went down to 100 like that
Yeah.
consistently, and then it hit that 100 and it bounced. It was it was gone. I mean,
Yeah.
so same thing here. Same thing could happen here. Um, just like Boyle, I'm looking at Boyle the same way. But Boyle is actually moving sideways more. So I don't want to say Tesla or Mullen should have moved sideways more. It depends on the stock. It depends on how many people are watching it. It depends on how many people are waiting for the dip or waiting for support or waiting for validation. It depends, right? So
Right.
I figure on Mullen, just like the traders that are waiting to trade it, I think that it's not going to get too much sideways action. I think it's going to fly once it starts. It has a strong day, and there's buyers there. 100%, there is buyers, and it's increasing volume of buyers, and traders see that. It's probably going to fly. 10, 15 cents that day.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that.
So, but that's just that's just what I see right now. So just having fun with it. You know, keeping my trend line here, adjusting my trend line. Oh, has it broken trend yet? Is it this? Is it that? So yeah, just having fun with it, and you know, still waiting to max my position. I think I still have like 30% or 25% that I still need to add to it. So I'm just being careful. You know, I don't want to add it all now in the case it goes to 8 cents. You know. So I'm just waiting and
Yes.
seeing the action. If the volume, I mean, if the volume keeps increasing like this, and it's not increasingly moving down faster, I really might not wait. I might just keep adding as it goes down and just keep averaging down instead of instead of trying to average up, because usually the plan is average up for half, or sorry, average down for half the trade, and buy into the selling or sell into the buying, and then the other half is going to be as the trade's working for me. That's usually the plan, but for something like this is almost an anomaly. It's very odd to do this. So I want to take my chances on it a little bit more because, you know, it could pop, it could gap. So, and I want to take advantage of that. So I'm just kind of, I'm being careful with it. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to max size too soon, but I want to see, you know, what the volume and the price is saying.
Right. Yeah, no, I think you're playing it perfect.
Yeah. Well,
And
thanks.
then, you know, what's worst case scenario? It runs before you add all of your position size to it.
Yeah.
You still made money anyway, so it's
Yeah,
like
it doesn't even matter.
it's a win-win.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a good trade. I think it's a great trade right now, and I can just see the kind of the kind of sentiment, because when I post about it in the group, you know, we got a couple people in there that are totally hyped about it. So that tells me that there's other people that could be bag holding. There's many traders right now that could be stuck in it, or many traders that are watching it. So that's another thing that I'm looking for right now, and it definitely seems like this is gonna, you know, it's a, how do you say, it's an emotion tugger. It's a feelings tugger. People, this is definitely a stock where I feel like the media and insider information and stuff like that is playing a big role. So I want to take advantage of that. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's the whole plan.
Let's see what the average cost on Mullen is. Let me take a peek here. Oh, gotta type in the wrong ticker. There we go. Okay, so average cost is 27 cents.
Not bad.
Yeah, so you know, just based off of how I do my projections, we're going to see it run to at least 26 cents before people start selling it off.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
it's currently at 10 cents.
So
So
that's pretty
that's
close
an
to,
easy
yeah,
160% gain.
pretty close to 30 cents there. That's what I was thinking. It was somewhere around like 30 cents. You know, that's 100, that's all out. You know, I'm done with the
Yeah,
trade at that point. And but it depends on how it gets there. I mean, if it's slowly trends toward there, I mean, I'm not going to say it's all out at 30 then. But this is like for a
right.
pop, or, you know, for a 2 week trend or something like that. Then yeah, that's my all out for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
But yeah, I
I
enjoy
mean,
Mullen for sure. I definitely enjoy that one. Are you still in Boyle?
yeah, I'm holding it forever, like you.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's same thing. We're just the past since about March, another volume divergence has happened where the, you know, prices are decreasing, and now we're seeing that, wait, just today, actually today was a great volume divergence day. So today was a day for hidden buyers, you know, and so for whatever reason that is, around 375 or something like that, 360. And there's, you know, it's just, it seems too cheap now. So that's a, but I'm already max size and I can't do anything now. I mean, you know, so I'm just kind of, you know, I'm just waiting now. But I mean, I'm willing to lose all of my investment just because I know, you know, that it's gonna move. So I'm fine with that.
Oh yeah, it
But
is, and it'll be a big move when it does it.
something like GameStop, I'm almost not willing anymore because I just know that of how far high, it's pretty high still. I mean, before the highest volume price since um well, you got to go pretty far back. Um like since 2020, since COVID,
Yeah,
$2. $2 is the highest volume price. But since 2021 when we had the run, it's about, let's see. It's about 36. So if we're talking
not
about
bad.
since the run, it's likely it could go back to $36. But if we're talking about before the run, when who might have accumulated it before the run, like people like Ryan Cohen or hedge funds that were seeing the price action, saying, "Well, what is going on?" Then yeah, I think under $10 is likely over time, right? This is over time, so it doesn't look like an investment to me. This looks like a chance. So I want to play the chance, but it doesn't mean I should have a lot of money in it, which I made that mistake on already, and I realized that about last month, that for making that mistake, treating it like an investment instead of treating it like a chance. So I'm trying to learn how to better differentiate that now.
You're not gonna run it to 1,000.
You know, you never know. You never know. I mean, since the split, probably not. But before, I think before I think it would have. But it's just one of those things where why why is the price what it is? Because if that's the case, and people that were really in the market, people like real hedge funds and you know why aren't they just why isn't the price holding high, and really nobody's selling? Why is that? So it almost looks like to me like not everybody's convinced, and that could be a time when it might move, is when not everybody's convinced. So I could be wrong, and it flies, but I recently had to change my bias on it. I remember texting you about it like at 5 a.m. or something. I thought I got margin called, and all my shares got sold, and I was like, oh my god, what just happened? I was freaking out. I like
Oh man.
I detached myself from GameStop that day. I was like, wow, is this worth it? And I was like, what? But it was funny because I wasn't even thinking about that until that day, and then that day just happened, and I was like, what? So yeah, I'm kind of just keeping I'm just gonna have a max size on it, like how I said, and if it moves, and it proves itself to me that it is worth an investment, then I'll increase my max position size in it. But as of right now, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna treat it like a normal trade instead of an investment, because investment is different. That's something you scale in, or you just doesn't matter the price. It's an investment. Just keep buying, averaging over time. But for this, I don't know. I might have been. I definitely believe changing my bias was a good decision, at least for the short term.
Yeah,
But that's with
I
all the
think so.
that's with all of them. I mean, AMC, GameStop, all that stuff.
All the meme stocks. Yep.
I mean,
I'm thinking myself.
I was wrong just for trying to, how do you say, just treat them like an investment. I mean, I never stopped to think and ask, how much am I paying for this? I never stopped to think and ask that. It was always just like, oh, it's moving, it's gonna keep moving. I never asked, okay, how much am I actually paying for this? It's like a car, you know. Why would I want to pay 50 grand for a Honda Civic? I don't want to pay that. So is I was so disconnected from that side, you know, of investing and trading and stuff. So So it doesn't mean GameStop's not an investment. It just means that the risk to reward it might not be there yet. I think we still have some downside before it's there to be an investment. Like, 7 to 15 more
Yeah.
dollars down, and then I'll start considering to really not treat it like a trade anymore. I'll treat it like an investment, and I'll say, okay, now I want to start. But anyways, enough blabbering. I've been stealing the
Uh,
mic.
no, it's good, man. Anything else you want to go over? I gotta cut this short, unfortunately.
I think that's good. I mean, other than that, I mean, we know that tomorrow and Wednesday, I guess we're gonna hear from the Fed what they feel about the banks and all that. So, other than that, I've got my puts. I believe that I'll be flying on those, but you're like you're like rubbing your hands together. You're like he doesn't know what he's in for.
I'm inverse Teddy.
Inverse Teddy ETF. That's funny. Anyways, man, yeah. Well, yeah, we'll see you next week, or maybe sometime this week we can get together again. But yeah, next week for
Yeah,
sure.
that sounds good.
And yeah, hope you make money on those calls, overnight. And I'll add the puts, and then we're both happy.
Exactly. Let's hope it plays out that way.
Right, right.
Hey, we can make money going both ways.
That's right, sir. That's right. All right, man.
All right.
Take
This
it
was
easy, bro.
good. You too, man.
Bye bye.
Thanks.